Hi, I'm Dr. Sheldon Horowitz here at the National Center for Learning Disabilities. Welcome to the next of our Ask the Expert video series. Today, what I'd like to do is provide an overview of nonverbal learning disabilities. It's really unfortunate that we call them nonverbal learning disabilities because individuals with nonverbal learning disabilities are in fact highly verbal. So it's a little bit confusing. What they are is weak in nonverbal areas. So what we'll do today is look at some of what that means, both in the academic, social, emotional, and physical domains. When we talk about individuals with nonverbal learning disabilities, these are individuals who often have extremely powerful verbal expression and verbal reasoning skills. They read often very well and have very good comprehension. They have very sophisticated vocabularies, and they have very powerful auditory or listening memories. They hold on to information that they've heard or that they've read. They tend also to be very attentive to detail, and the flip side is that they often have difficulties with the big picture. So they focus on the detail, have difficulties with big picture kinds of thinking. Math tends to be an area of academic weakness for many individuals with nonverbal learning disabilities, especially when we talk about word problems. And handwriting, not the ability to formulate written product, but the actual ability to do handwriting kinds of work are often seen to be an area of weakness for individuals with nonverbal learning disabilities. In the social and emotional domain, what we see is these individuals often have difficulty generalizing what they've learned to new situations, taking something that they've mastered in one class and then applying it to another, or taking a rule or a strategy that they've learned and implementing it in a novel or a new situation. They can, in the social and emotional domain, be very concrete. So for example, if I were to use the expression, "great job," someone with a nonverbal learning disability might in fact say, well, that means I'm being complimented for doing something really well, when in fact my great job was meant in a facetious kind of way, and what I meant to have said, or if I unpack the meaning of that, it really means, man, you didn't do a good job on that, and you really need to have thought differently or behaved differently. So that kind of thinking, that kind of language can be difficult and create difficulties in the social emotional domain. These individuals with nonverbal learning disabilities, often have difficulty intuiting the hidden meaning that goes into that language example that I gave before. They have difficulties with fluidity of social interaction, the ease with which they engage in conversation, the back and forth. It's been said of some individuals with nonverbal learning disabilities that they just don't have street smarts. They wait for something to happen, they look, they react, but they're not in ways planful about what kinds of thing might happen to anticipate how they need to either engage or protect themselves on the street. They often have difficulties reading facial expression, which goes to some of that social cueing, that taking things literally or just not knowing what somebody means in the social domain. They also, these individuals with nonverbal learning disabilities, tend to be hyperverbal, very, very verbal, and often what they'll do is they'll talk to relieve anxiety, to sort of get themselves through situations. They have difficulties with routine. Often the changes in routines are hard for them, and those transitions need to be explained and supported. In middle school, what we see is an increased incidence of withdrawal, social withdrawal, and emotional withdrawal, certainly during those tweens and teen years, different from young children with nonverbal learning disabilities, where in early childhood we see them as being more inattentive and perhaps even a little bit overactive. Because of these social emotional difficulties, they tend also to be at risk for low self-esteem. In the physical domain, individuals with nonverbal learning disabilities often show signs of poor coordination. They're kids who have difficulty learning to ride a bicycle, being able to coordinate their movements, to play baseball, to swing a bat appropriately and hit the ball as it's being pitched from a distance, their ability to catch a ball or to do hopping, skipping, and jumping. These are areas of difficulty for many children with nonverbal learning disabilities. They often have difficulties with directions, following directions, or more so, thinking and mapping visual directions in space. And they have difficulties estimating time and shape and weight and distance, which can interfere again with some of their work in math, some of their work in problem solving. For more information about nonverbal learning disabilities and other disorders of attention, learning, and behavior, please visit the ld.org website.